Okay, so welcome, Susie. Thank you very much for being with us. Let me present you Suzi Smith. She's a trainer in NLP and she coaches using NLP. Uh, that's the official presentation. For me, the most important thing, or what I most like about Susie, is two things. It's her warmth when she's working, plus her effectiveness. She's like very specific on how to find the patterns that are hurting us and how to help people grow healthy patterns and dissolve or even grow for a better purpose the patterns that were hurting us. I don't know if you relate with this, but I truly see you like that.
Yes.
So good, so good. Susie, so as a coach and as a trainer, what is what you most value about your work?
Oh, I love to see people change. I love to see people have choices when they are feeling stuck, to feel like they can move on in life. And so the most rewarding thing for me is to figure out what it is the person needs to do to take the next step on their journey to move towards creating the future they want for themselves.
Mm,
And I
beautiful.
get excited about seeing that and
Mhm.
hearing it.
Beautiful purpose, Susie. Beautiful purpose. And it may sound like a simple question, and maybe it is, but I truly want to ask you this in a real way. How do you do that? How do you listen what the other one needs?
Well, first of all, my intent when I'm with someone is to hold the space for them, to be there as another set of eyes and ears for them, because so often as an individual we don't realize what we're saying or thinking, but someone else can pick that up and mirror it back for us so that we can say, oh my goodness, is that really what's happening inside of me? So my intent is to hold the space for them and be non-judgmental and just there for them so they know they have the support and that it's safe to begin to explore things that may be kind of frightening for people to explore, like their past.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes,
my
yes.
job is to be uh, another set of eyes and ears that has no judgments, that has I don't have an outcome for change to occur. I'm there to hold the space for the journey to begin for someone. And they're on an exploration of what it is they need to do to take the next step. It's not my journey, but I'm there to be a support for them.
Powerful. It's like it's pure active listening in the most Rogerian way, let's say, although it's
Right.
listening, no,
Uh-huh.
for active listening. And how do you consider that I call it sacred space that it's creating in between who we are listening and and the listener?
Well, I have some beliefs that we're all one, that we all already have everything we need within us to be brilliant and create, manifest our dreams. And the sacred space that is between us is a sense of connection. So I kind of have interesting beliefs. I think disease happens when we're disconnected from ourselves, inside ourselves and all parts of us, so we don't feel a sense of connection with all parts of ourselves, or when we're not feeling connected with the people in our lives, the people we interact with, and when we're not feeling a connection with the earth that we live on. So I think the sacred space is connecting and feeling a sense of energy flowing between me and whoever I'm working with. And I realized some years ago, one of the ways that I do that is imagine a red a red light that flows from my heart to somebody else's heart and connects us so that we truly feel that heart connection as we're working with each other. And I do that when I'm training with the training group. And I do it when I'm working individually one-on-one with someone. So
I,
connection is really important to me. And to be healthy, I think we have to connect with ourselves and with others and with the earth that we live on to feel like we belong.
yes, I listen. This is very active listening that you do. I listen to you, and what I'm realizing is that you connect with others from your healthy way of being, connecting.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And I want to also be able to serve as a model for people of what's possible. So it's important for me to maintain my health and my sense of connection so that if I make a suggestion to someone, it's because I've tried it myself and I know it works.
And this connection you talk about, the word life is coming to me all the time when I listen to connection.
Right,
Life grows
right,
connecting.
right.
How do you see that?
Well, I see it as a sense of being present. We also call it mindfulness nowadays, so that we pay attention to what is right in front of us. That's where our attention goes. And then we live in the present moment and we are in life wherever it is. So we get this mindfulness of being aware. Where am I? Who am I working with? What am I saying and doing? Which keeps me in the present.
Listening in the present, being alive,
Right,
or even giving back life. I would say it's coming to me also that way
right,
of
right.
understanding.
Mm-hmm.
And when that connection is created, when you are present and the other person is present, at least for you, how do you do to let the patterns that are hurting people talk or express or be able to have their space so that they can express themselves?
Well, I'm constantly listening for what they say and what they don't say, and observing minimum changes that happen in their body and their face and their eyes, and then imagining I am them. So we call it going other with somebody else. If I were inside that body, talking those words and having that experience, what would that be like for me? And then I notice what's there or what isn't there when I imagine being the other person. Of course, I don't stay there long. I go there long enough to get an essence of what's going on with them, and then I come back to myself and I might ask a question, a specific question to help them clear up whatever they're thinking about, or to help me understand what they're saying.
So generous that you are sharing all this, Susie. Um, this, I don't know if I'm gonna say it literally. Milton Erickson used to say, "One foot on the life, on the world of the patient, and one foot outside on your own world." That's your game, no?
That's
The
right.
play.
That's right. Uh-huh. If so I want to try to understand as best I can the other person's reality and what's happening with them so that I know what questions to ask them to help them get the information they need to move on.
What I'm gonna present you something. When I teach students how to do this, to be present with the patient, I realize some of us we also do something which is a kind of different step. I want to know what you think about it. It's like we go into the world of the other, we go into second person, then we come to our side. What I realized, at least sometimes I do that. It's like receive the client, the person who we are listening to, in our womb. Like if we had a womb, like let's say energetic or spiritual or physical womb, and
Uh,
we bring the patient, the person we are listening to our womb, and perceive it as I guess like I'm not a mother, I'm a man, but I guess like a mother can feel a baby, and when the students do this, they relate a very deep connection with the person. What do you how do you see this? What do you feel about this?
I think that's a great idea. I never thought of that. Yeah, it's a good way to help someone really understand what it's like to be carrying another, in
Yes.
essence. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Susie. And once you have all this listening, all this traveling to the world of the other person and traveling to your own world in that atmosphere of creation, let's say, what's your next step? How do you find your next step? How do you find which pattern may be helpful for that person?
Well, I keep backtracking, feeding back to the person the information that I hear them saying and what I perceive from seeing things, checking out with them, is that true? And then I ask another question to fill in, like, it's like, I think I hold a puzzle inside a visual, maybe a visual puzzle, and I'm trying to fit the pieces together for this person and see if I have enough pieces that it makes sense to me if I were them. And I'm trying to help them uncover other information that might fill in another piece of the puzzle.
So it's like being at the service of the process of the journey of the other person
That's
uh,
right.
and constantly looking for feedback.
That's right. And
Const-
and finding out whether the way I'm perceiving things is accurate, and or not, so that then I can figure out, well, what am I missing when I imagine I'm them, and where would I find that information inside me if I were that person?
So as I listen to you, I see as uncertainty, the unknown, like a very good friend of yours when
Yeah.
you work.
Well, sometimes I go, what? I'm lost. I feel lost. And I just have to keep holding the space, Luis. I'm just there. I know the person will get to where they need to go if I just keep holding the space and make it safe for them to keep questioning inside themselves. And sometimes I'm lost. I mean, I really am. I go, huh? I don't know where we are. I don't know what's happening. Keep holding the space. Keep holding the space. And they will figure it out.
And the way I see it is that uncertainty that I don't know, that you when you embrace that is what allows you to open your eyes or your sensing to know the other one. No, it's like
Right.
what
Yeah.
and then the light comes. Normally, when we embrace uncertainty, some, at least some light comes, or
Mhm.
this inspiration or illumination or peak experience, as Maslow would call it. How do you receive that?
How do I receive that? Hmm. It's like something clicks inside of me, and I hear a voice that says, "That's it." And I might suggest a process that I could do with that person that might help them, or I might have just the right question to ask that would move them next, or I might ask them at that point, "Oh, what do you know now, and where do you think we need to go with this?" So I keep the space open that they are going to get to where they need to go.
And what does inspire you most of, because of what they receive from that, let's say, encounter or session? When
What inspires me?
you make the process or the ritual, you involve or you make the next questions, they also get inspired. Uh,
Right?
how do you feel about that? How do you feel about just observing someone being inspired and making new steps?
That's why I do what I do. That makes my heart sing. I feel a sense of satisfaction that I've been of some assistance in helping a person take steps towards what they want. Yeah. So it's lovely to get feedback to see, to see and hear what happens with them. And it's also nice to have them say, "That's it. That's what I've been searching for. I feel so much better inside," or something like that.
And what do you do with that singing heart? Because the journey of the patient is there, but also your journey is there. No, like
Well, it
your heart is singing.
inspires me to keep doing what I'm doing.
Mm, mm.
Despite the fact that all my friends say, "When are you going to retire? When are you going to stop doing all this?" Why would I when I get such joy out of seeing the lights turn on in somebody who hasn't had those lights on for a long time?
And do you dance that singing heart in the sense like do you give yourself some time to receive that blessings that you have been uh, observing or being part of it?
I haven't done that, but that's a great idea. That's a great idea. I
So
love to get the feedback from people, and I enjoy it when I get it. Um, so it inspires me to continue doing what I'm doing.
yes, to do your next step.
Hmm.
And Susie, how do you combine? Because there's a line. At least it's how I see it. Like when we help people, there's the help we need to give, but it's very important to know which is your responsibility and where is the responsibility of the client, of the patient. How do you manage that? Like being able to help and loving helping others, and at the same time keeping your own business. I don't know if the expression is correct. Keeping your own responsibility,
Well,
allowing the responsibility.
yeah, we used to do exercises in training called "Who Owns the Problem?"
Uh,
And I think I keep that in mind. Um, I do a lot of work with people who have major health issues. And I had to get beyond, if I'm not able to help someone go on living, does that mean I'm a failure, that I failed? But then I realized there's so much more to what we call healing versus curing, that sometimes a healing is for a person to feel comfortable enough that they're safe in moving on to the next phase, whatever is beyond this life. So I have to realize it's not my job to fix a problem somebody else has. It's their job. And I'm there to facilitate. I'm there to help, to answer questions. If my questions and my help are not working well to serve that person, then I figure I must not have enough rapport, or something is not right in the relationship between me and that person, and I'm best to let them go to someone else.
Hmm.
But sometimes I think, oh, I so want to tell a person what to do, and it's not my job to do that. It's their job to figure out what works best for them, with my help, of course. So I have to think about who owns this problem.
Yes. Very Socratic way of
Oh,
asking and
oh,
relating.
mm-hmm.
And what I'm listening from you is this, or letting go what is already going. It's also living. It's in fact living. That's what I'm listening from you.
Right, right. Well, I would love everyone to be able to live their life fully as long as they are living their life. Yeah, that we can enjoy life, that we can feel um, the joy and pleasure of being alive. But if it's our choice not to be alive, then people have permission to move on to whatever they think is next.
Powerful and beautiful. And I listen you talking from process orientation much more than oriented to results. Although you work in the change mm,
Right, right.
business, I would say.
Yeah, I think I pay way more attention to the process that's going on for the person and between me and the person than the content of what they're talking about too. So I'll see somebody that maybe I did a process with in a training a couple of years ago, and they'll say, "Oh, do you remember when you did XYZ with that? I was the one that had this issue." And I go, "Oh, I don't remember the content at all. I might remember if I did a really powerful process and if it was a great example of how NLP can help somebody move to the next step, but I won't remember the content that it was about big sister or dad or anything like that. It's just like that's gone from me."
Yes, you remember the encounter, the emotional
Right, right.
experience, the growth.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you are. What I also meant with that is like your orientation is pro-life. Let's say, and life is a process of growth
Right,
more than just a bunch of results. No? Or I get cured or I don't get cured. That's a very narrow way
right,
of observing the whole process of
right,
living and dying. Let's say.
right, right. We are a whole person, and the process of living life should be wonderful. Yeah.
Yes, and I'd love to ask you a last question, which is, what possibilities have you seen and other people have to heal? What have you seen that people can heal?
I've seen miracles. I mean, I consider them miracles. And people say, "Do you believe that you can use NLP to heal this?" And I go, "Yes, absolutely. I may not quite know how to do it yet, but I still believe miracles are possible. I see them every day. Just last week, I was able to help a man who had been afflicted with a gluten intolerance to where he was so fatigued and confused and in for over 54 years. And we were able to retrain his immune system to where gluten won't do that to him anymore. And he said before we started, well, I've done a lot of research and I know if you don't have the enzyme, that's too bad. You're stuck with that for life. And yet he was eating gluten after we finished something with gluten and not feeling fatigued or confused or anything. So right there in front of my eyes, I was seeing a miracle. And
Yes, sorry.
yeah, I help people change their beliefs. And when you have a belief of what is possible, then I think anything's possible.
Susie, what you're saying, sorry, I told you it was the last question, but it's too it's too cool to stop just now. Uh, uh, so what you were saying is very challenging for the way we understand mostly in our society the healing possibilities. You were saying someone who was gluten intolerant is not gluten intolerant anymore. He can have gluten, for example. Just this is a
Right,
small example, this
right.
small miracle.
Or someone who's been dealing with a cancer of some sort. They do the typical medical treatment, but the important part is what created it in the first place. So we heal the cause. We go beneath the surface and find out what created it in the first place so the person doesn't have to worry about that moving forward in their life. And I've had lots of experiences of helping people that way.
Amazing, Susie. Thank you very much. Where can people find you? I will put your web address, but is there somewhere, because I know you have a healing program? I mean, maybe you can say the correct word. You also have like a near death experience program. I think. Yeah, maybe you can understand. You can explain it better than me.
Well, in trainings, I often help people have a near death experience and come back from it so they realize that the process of dying is really actually quite lovely. Because I've studied a lot on near death experiences, that it's nothing to be afraid of. If you're not afraid of dying, you have permission to fully live your life. And in some of the health trainings that I do, I take people through that experience so they go, oh, yes, to go to the light where everything is love and beauty. Wow, that's not so bad. But and then, of course, I tell them they're not finished. They have to come back here and finish with their life. But yeah, people can reach me on my website at suzismith.net if they're interested. I'm still doing some trainings in health, and I post those online so people can find out where they are. And mostly I'm doing a lot of individual coaching on the internet because I live in a very remote area that's hard to reach. So people reach me better through my computer.
And the computer is really helpful. I think now with these months that we've all been more at home, we've realized that even with distance, we can help a lot to
Oh,
other people and have
yes,
yes
yes. Yeah,
and have a very deep connection with them.
correct. Yes.
Plus, you have some programs online, some taped records you have in your website. I know they are so
Actually,
beautiful.
yes. I recorded years ago some healing. First, they were cassette tapes, and then they were CDs, and now nobody has either of those. So they are available to download off my site, and they're very useful for somebody in the healing process.
So good. So thank you very much to
You're
be with us
welcome.
today.
It's been a pleasure.
uh, I'm happy. I'm happy. Did you enjoy the interview, this
Sure,
encounter?
sure. Oh, it's always fun to find out what I say.
Did you feel heard, or how
Yes,
heard did you feel?
I know you were great at listening to what I said and moving me on to the next step.
Thank you. I'm very happy. Did we? Did you talk about what seems important for you?
Well, I think you touched on some of the important things for me as a coach, assisting people to move on in their lives. Yes.
So good, Susie. So I'm very, very happy. Thank you very much, and I hope we meet somewhere or through the internet in some other ways. Thank
Okay.
you very much,
You're
Susie.
welcome. Bye.
Bye.